Okay, folks, good evening to good morning to whatever you're tuning in. This is the Liberia Public Radio, Lpr-Tv. I am Afonso Zay, and so right here is 8:13 Eastern Standard Time. We want to welcome all our viewers and listeners. Mr. Briggs Clarence, thank you so much joining us from all the way from Bapolo County. Wow. Good morning. Thank you for your time. And of course, Mr. John Maulo, thank you for being here. Just hit the share button for us and we will get this program going as soon as we can. Thank you so much. And I welcome to the show. As usual, we are here evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we are here to always have to discuss community issue. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us here at the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank you so much. We always value your time because of you. This is why we are also here. Without you, we can't be here. So we say thank you. Do us a favor to Mr. Morgan, to you, J. Victor Morgan, Karen. Good morning, good evening, depending on your location. Welcome. This is the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv, where we always discuss issues, national issues. Sometimes it doesn't go in your favor because you want it your way, but we try to be honest and we accept views. Different views and opinions is about our country, and so we all do have a shared responsibility to talk about our country in any way, form, or shape that we want it, but it must be done in the honor factions. A lot is unfolding in Liberia, so let's get a conversation going here. I mean, the gist is too much, and sometimes you just don't know where to start. The Liberal Progressive is here. Hopefully, the rest of the panelists will join us here this evening for us to have a conversation about the country, about our people, and the way forward, if we're to be. So we say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Just bear with us. We sometimes while you on ads, communication information coming, and you got to respond to it. But in the meanwhile, let me bring in the liberal progressive, the more liberal on this network, something black, cool, brown, tall. This is the Liberia Public Radio with the panelists. They are here to have a conversation. So welcome to the show. Okay, let's get a ball rolling. Time is fast spent. I'm Afonso Zayan Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank you for sharing your evening, your morning with us on this beautiful day. Today is Monday. Let me bring in the Liberal Progressive of the Liberia Public Radio. He's based in Saxtown, Sacramento. Let us have a conversation. Yes, it's too much is unfolding. The Liberal Progressive.
Good evening, Mr. So. Thank you for having us.
Okay, as usual. What are you wearing there? What, press jacket?
Yes.
What are you trying to exhibit so that I know you're a press man or what? Every week get its own stuff. What is that? I remember
this is my press jacket.
Was that the same jacket you wore during the president's inauguration? Was that the same?
No. This is the press jacket that I went on during the this going about a year ago in Liberia when I went on an assignment.
I tell you, you did a surprise by giving it to somebody.
Well, I brought my stuff back.
the man from Total. You didn't even make a mistake to bless somebody, man. Come on.
No, I brought my stuff back.
Okay, to say all of our good friends, followers, I will say thank you so much, Washington, and all of you, Tenant. I will say thank you so much for joining us. This is Liberia Public Radio, Lpr-Tv. Sometimes we have a conversation that does not really pivot in your direction. but we try to be very honest and sincere with our conversations. We respect the views of even our onliners. Dear tweet, Mr. James Tannant, welcome. Thank you so much. One of our committed follower of this network here. And I think as time go by, maybe we need to figure out a day. But and most of our guys, I don't know. But maybe we've got to create that opening here where they need to come on, because this is not just only about anchor and facilitator panelists. It's about the country. So we need to start hearing from these people, their positions and things that are happening also in the country. But it's getting quite interesting. Liberals, let's go into your playbook. But before then, how was your weekend?
Weekend was beautiful. Kids enjoyed them, but Saturday and Sunday was bad. The rain here in Sacramento, trees
Yeah,
falling
yeah,
everywhere. It was terrible.
yeah. I
Especially
was
last night, the wind was blowing everywhere.
Yeah,
But
MS
thank God.
try. Thank you so much. I thank you for always following us. Yeah, go ahead. I just try to be nice. I'm not like you. You don't. The only time you call our follower is to make plow environment, to make plow with them. Soon a rare little thing against small.
But before I talk a little bit about the flower business, first thing first, I want to first of all thank God, and I also want to say welcome to our brother who is visiting here. I believe
Oh,
the professor himself. I believe I don't in Montreal. He stayed in Montreal here, but we were you know
the
chatting
professor.
earlier, and I want to
The
welcome
professor is
him.
here.
Huh?
The professor is here.
Oh, the CDC professor. Okay, welcome back, CDC professor. We're still here, waiting for you. Waiting for you.
Oh boy, this guy, man, you're not changing something. I don't know. All right, go ahead. How was your weekend, buddy?
Yeah. No, like I was saying, it was wonderful. Except, excuse me, Saturday and Sunday it was raining heavily, and even this morning it's going to do it all over again tonight. So sometimes it's very difficult.
Yeah, I was monitoring news last night. Is it Ambassador Dan? Thank you so much for joining. What's the name of the place again? It's Little Rock or something? Something. Which part of California?
Well, this is in Northern California. Adorado had it bad. Uh, um, Sacramento County, where I reside, also had it real bad. And but the thing about these people's stuff is the street will be flooded
Oh, Mr.
because
Milton Jabba, good morning. I am watching from Liberia, New Georgia Junction. Thank you so much. The man himself, Philip Baswat, Mac Ward. Thank you so much. I have come to realize I showed the display the other day. Anyway, let me not interrupt you so you can start with
that's
me.
what you do, and that's what you're good at, interrupting the liberal when he's on the roll, just so that the audience will not try to gravitate towards me. You try to interrupt me when I'm saying things where people now try to say, "Oh, the liberal," then you get involved. But the people know who you are. They know who you are. You're not gonna pour any wool over anybody's eyes. Say you're nice to me. You're not nice to me. Oh, they know who you are. They know exactly what's coming later on. The only reason why you're being this charming right now because there's only two of us. But I within the next 30 minutes or so, if the central right show up, your true color gonna show. You will turn flip on me and then become so critical on things I say and how I say it, and you will be expecting to answer a certain way. But right now, I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared. So you're not pulling any wool for anybody's eyes. I know who you are. The audience know who you are. That it's not because you care for me or anything like that. They know you. They know you. You're going to be flipping on me here later on. And I just noticed something here, and I'm not too sure whether there's a pro-government sympathizer he called himself. He's not even a pro-government sympathizer. He's a born sedition. I'm not even going to put any other character on it. He's a sedition and coming here and thinking said because he's a sedition, so people should be afraid of him and not asking or say something if we don't agree with CDC and this government. Far from it. Far from it. He's a sedition here. Fine, we welcome him, but let him be rest assured that whenever we don't agree with something, we're not going to be afraid. We will speak our mind.
I'm watching you.
Well, I'm just giving it to you as it is. That's what a liberal is for. So you're standing here thinking, say you're being friend with me here. That's not doing anything for me at all. Because once the central right show up, we will see again. And then people know these things. The audience, they love me. They love me. But you try to cloud that love from time to time, but it's not gonna work. Even though it's raining here in Sacramento and people have been texting and writing and sending a tweet to Mr. Toe, be safe, everything. I'm okay, and I want to turn all of those people who continue to pray for all of us. We say thank you very much. God is wonderful, and we're doing great.
He finding way at all costs. Wharton Carter to find him a name which
it's
is
a sedition. There is no Wharton Carter, nothing, no Carter, nothing. Calling CDC man, CDC representative. That's it. That's it. Whether you speak for them or not, I'm not even going to. There's no daylight between him and CDC failed policy.
So is there a crime in that?
No, but there's no crime for me to announce it.
You're supporting Boyka. You're supporting.
I am not in support. I admire you. There's a distinction there. I admire Ambassador Bakai. There is a distinction because by me admiring somebody, that's also give me the opportunity if something is not right for me to say so, which I've been doing from time to time. If Ambassador Bakai and his people have done something that I don't agree with, I will say so. But that does not diminish my admiration for Ambassador Bakai. Unlike the CDC man that you now trying to showcase as much as you do, giving him more time here on this platform, he will talk and talk and talk, and you don't say nothing. But I'm going to be checking you guys tonight. I'm here. I'm here as a counterweight because I got my clock set. And whenever he speaks, I'm putting to set the clock. Whether you're running a show or not, I'm going to set the clock. We're all going to have equal time on this platform, or else we're going to demonstrate. That's all it is. We're going to protest.
Oh,
yeah.
They want retire. Somebody
tired not sharing time. We're going to protest. Yeah.
You better go find your $17,000. I know where the way fire in the hole. Where I want to look. Okay, you know what? I'm not off a flower this evening. I'm not here. My day is already cooked. I bake you. Okay, all right. The Liberal, good evening. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. So.
I monitored a little bit. The discovery still continues. I listened to Director Moses Carter. There were some exhibits of other ammunitions or whatever the phone. It is serious. I think it is serious. We don't know yet. Security forces are trying to establish or maybe really know who are those, the purpose of bringing those sort of firearms in the country at the time we are all eyes all directed for the major elections ahead, both presidential and legislative elections. So what is the essence of that? I still try to figure out the rationale.
Yeah, Mr. So I too been following this ammunitions and arms, the consignment that was seized. I've been questioning the procedures of the seizure procedures by the police as well. But at the same time, I've been racking my head to see what would be the reason behind that. Because none of us, even in as much as I don't agree with this president and his policy, he's my president. He was duly elected. 65.1% or 61.5%. He didn't come to this position through the back door. Every one of us sat down here with eyeball open when he was elected. So if anybody who thinks say you're going to try to remove this president by any means other than going to the ballot box, you got another thing coming. Because Liberians are not going to support you. And where you going to go? What county land what county will allow you to use their land to bring up these kinds of mess? Nobody. Nima County, we're not going to welcome you. Grand Jide not going to welcome you. Lofa County not going to welcome you. Sierra Leone and Cape Mal County, they're not going to welcome you. You're going to base yourself on the Atlantic Ocean, maybe. Maybe. But to say, instead of you, whoever you are, if you want the president to be one-time president, which we're all going to be fighting for, but it will be done legally, it will be done through the ballot box, nothing short of that any of us would support. So if you think those firearms you take over there is to go to the Sapo or Grand Jide Forest to go, because that's a place that got a lot of animal gone, other market meat and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to do market meat, go and get yourself a license. But if you think that you're going to disturb the peace of the Republic of Liberia, you have nothing, no sympathetic ear for anyone. And then for that reason, Mr. So, all I can say on this is, I hope that this is not a ploy by anybody within the government. But then again, having had the opportunity to read and study this president, he does not have within him any ounce, as far as I'm concerned, of violence to say I'm going to do whatever it is to change the Constitution or what have you. It has nothing. This president, if you face him and you defeat him, he will give the power over. He's not going to resist. So if anyone within his circle that thinks, say, well, maybe if we do that, we'll keep, they're not going to keep nothing. Liberian will go to the poll, vote their conscience, vote whoever they want. If they want to remove President Weah, fine. If they want to retain him, I don't agree with it, but I will support it at the end, just as I've been doing. And for some reason, people say it's undercover. I don't care whether you call me overcover, undercover. I don't care. A law is the law. You can't do anything else, Mr. So.
Yeah, I think when it comes to our country, we need to kind of like a little bit, especially when it comes to the security of the state, we need to undo politics. We need to unify. The strength of this country that we find ourselves in is one of the things that they have in common. The Republicans, the Democrats, the Independent, the Green Party, or whatever you call them. There's one thing, they protect, they believe the protections of their motherland. That's something they can quickly, in a quick instant, they comes together. Let me ask you, I've been trying to look around, perhaps there's a slip and it might not be on something. Has there been any position statement coming from major state actors in terms of condemnation while full conclusions of the investigation? The picture itself, what is unfolding itself is unprecedented. That puts fear, in people. We talk to people, and it's just this, other people, they are talking, people are talking, and they are wondering the motive behind this and who is the doer. I'm hoping the government, GOL, will ask maybe friendly government, the USA, especially the European Union, and other people, to help in this investigation, so there can be some sort of real extensive, because these arms is being reported from outside of Liberia. So I think it needs some other international help, expertise to fund what is really happening. So has there been any sort of condemnation, do you think, coming from other actors? The picture is regardless who's the blame and where they want to shift the blame. That's the usual behavior of these politicians. Nobody wants to take responsibility. They do not, and that is so sickening in our country. They do not even have one thing, one day they can agree to have in common. You know what? Let's put aside this party. It's about the country. We need to have a single voice, a unified voice. I don't see that happening very suddenly in the country.
Yeah, Mr. So I think this is one time that I will hope that the opposition, specifically on this issue, the stakeholders, they need to be quiet, because they are not the government, and this is about the safety of Liberians. This is not about rights in Liberia. This is about guns. They need to be quiet on this, study the movement of the government. However way the government going to come out, in the meantime, they also are not just sitting down supinely. They are there watching and moving and doing their own, not investigation, but conversation with each other. I believe that. And so, Mr. So, at this time, I don't want these people to be involved. The government was the one. It was the government that went to report to say this, they did some seizure. It was the government that brought these things up to say they have seized some ammunition.
Yeah, so when you say you don't want them to be involved, you don't want them to say anything?
No, not at this time. Not at this time. Because here's the reason. Here's the reason. The government have not announced any kind of motives whatsoever. The government said they have arrested a few people already. Now, we want to know those that were arrested, what are some of the things that are coming out of them? The interesting thing is, they said there's a guy here in the United States. I've been perusing all over. Maybe it's out there, but I have not seen it. He has not been arrested by the federal government of shipping guns to Liberia. Where did he get his gun from? He's not working in any kind of gun manufacturing company here in this United States.
You don't know.
So why is it? These are some of the interesting things that are happening. Why is it? This is the same government, the United States government, that put sanction on Liberians, not because they were stealing American money, but because they were stealing Liberian money. So if the U.S. so care to the point that they will put sanction on citizens of a country, when they believe that these people are not in the interest of the people they're supposed to be serving, which we all applaud and say, well, thank you. And this is the same country where Joe Blow is living, and they say Joe Blow is transporting guns, illegal guns, to Liberia from this side. If he lives here, why is it? Up to this time, we have not heard anything to say this man is being investigated or this man is being questioned. Nothing. I've not heard that.
You see, now you are trying to go down the route where we're going to start having a little bit rough edges.
Mr. So, and I'm ready for that as well.
Yeah, no, okay.
This is about my country.
Yeah, you don't care about the country more than I do or any other Liberian. Not only your country,
Mr.
it's all
So,
of us.
You can't say that.
You
can't say that. I have a level of love for Liberia that perhaps you don't have. It's me. I'm not saying we. I said me. I love Liberia. Yes, you do. But at the Western extent, that's up to you. I'm saying here publicly that I do love Liberia, and I'm talking about my country. Now, let me just make this point, then perhaps you can try to disabuse me on whatever subject matter you want to come up with. And that is, if this man is shipping gun from Texas as claimed by the government officials, then perhaps they need to do their own due diligence by even contacting the Texas, forget FBI.
Well, You see, you guys quick to run
I said
ahead
I
of
have
the
not
spread.
seen it. I'm not saying they're not doing
Though
it.
you
I said
are,
I
no,
have not
listen.
seen it.
Yeah, okay. If you have not seen this, so then your tone should be in a speculative form.
No,
You can't
no,
just say
no,
they have
no,
not
no, no, no,
contacted.
no.
How
I
you
have
know that
not
they have not
seen it.
contacted people?
I have not seen it, and I will assume until I see it, it's not being done. That's what I say. I'm a liberal. What do you want me to say? You want me to come here and say maybe? I'm not. There's no maybe. I see it. It's done. I don't see it. It's not done. I'm a Liberian. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? You say maybe they on it? No, 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 no. They ready. They ain't hide the gun, the picture. When they ready, they took TV with a camera to take gun from the attic. They were not speculating. Now you want me to, that meme can speculate before they show something? That meme must speculate. I'm not speculating nothing. I say I haven't seen it. If they're doing it, I haven't seen it. Maybe you can say, but I have not seen it.
Well, anyway, you know what? I'm not gonna get into a fight because it's like
Don't be
every night you
afraid.
come.
The liberal. I got you here tonight. You alone, and you got no helper. And so your tune here tonight. It's and all of the analysts, your supporters are now quiet right now because I got you exactly where I need you to be. Tonight is my night. So don't be talking like you're not in control. You're in control of this show. Are you not? Is the liberal running the show tonight? I'm just giving it to you.
I wish I had a webcam mounted in your house to see what went on there today. We soup what are that palm bottle with fire coal you ate that get you better. Yeah, okay, yeah. Look, on a serious note, I hopefully I will come to some sort of a clear cut to get a picture, you know. And I just hope, and I strongly believe there's some sort of news content sharing. The NSA and the intelligence community, especially the US team. All right, let's bring in our senior contributor, Mr. Sisit Goya, is also based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Is a supporter of Tier 1C Gonglo of the opposition LPP. Where got party? The LPP? LPP.
Yep, Liberian People's Party.
So he was in that boat or canoe he was in. Where he was going?
Going to meet Liberians wherever they live in Liberia.
Yeah, my goodness. I let say Boaka was in one ferry too. I said, you take it easy. Okay. Sissy, good evening. Welcome, man.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, leave our Loma guy. I let her do what she's supposed to do. Okay. Like I was saying, the liberal. We hope. But I'm quite sure the government is now resting. Whatever the case, no matter how long it takes, I think we're going to get to the battle line for this whole thing here because we need to know. We saw some instances, we witnessed some things in the past, most likely look like this. And other things happen, and we saw how the train derailed. We saw how things completely, there was a mere anarchy. So, I mean, I hope they are really sharing news content and contacting people that they know to come call. And not, it shouldn't be one of these endless. I'm hoping to none of these endless investigation that doesn't I bring a conclusive end result. This is serious because the international community are watching. I was surprised to know these things that goes on, not just only to we as a Liberian, but other foreign nationals. My co-worker, I was shocked. I came in today. Oh, my man, Alfonso. You people, and he just started that job. We are no Nigerian man going to go Liberia to go fight again, though. So I pretended like I don't know what he was really saying because I really wanted him to hear from him. So I said, "Oh, God, what you saying?" He said, "Hey, you're having election coming and people carrying arm, blah, blah, blah. No more echo, more Nigerian gonna go there." So it means just how we have these conversations, other people having those conversations, especially our brothers and sisters from the southwest, the west from our neighbors. Remember, there were a lot of huge price pay by our, West African brothers, sisters. Troops were sent to Liberia. People died. And that was a problem on their government. Today, there are other people who to yet to recover, even though they are army, but they have no reason, no cause. So when these things are happening, and we're seeing the recent call by ECOWAS establishing this monitoring of force in Abuja recently, it was reinforced. So these people, they get their own family too. They have all reasons to worry, to think that even though we're hoping not, but I just still can get it why. And there's so much information coming there, and we just hope and hope. Government, in as much it takes time to gather intelligence, inform information to the public. We hope this will be expedited with the help of friendly governments with the expertise, since his whole thing is coming from outside of Liberia, is being reported by security forces in Liberia to go into that investigation. Okay. Having said that, in the midst of that, did you see the video? There's a lady who went to the vice president early morning, some part of last week, that they wanted the vice president to have a vice president boycott to have his pick of a VP. You saw that?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that,
Yeah,
Mr. So.
maybe I would. I think I would play it, but this is what front page is reporting here, because that's what happens when all of these things here, these speculations of all of the people you see. Jeremiah Kung, I think it's like a look like Benina Yuri. I think that Connor is dead. Liman Bowie. I try to recognize this other lady right by Jeremiah Kung. Nyombli, that your sister Nyombli Kanga there. These two here, I try to, our man Tiawon there, your man Boyka there, Ellis Cummings as well. But interestingly, I don't usually I don't like to borrow content that much, but this guy who is speaking to Spoon, who is willing to talk, we don't know yet. I think there was a little bit. The service was kind of a little bit dangling today, so there was not much. But I think this is a new vital thing. Dependent the information. So what is he's been allegedly been reported with this whole comments. We are not hearing from Brown again. All of that. That is, I don't know, the future of his campaign. If Brown is in the front yard of his campaign. If this ball is to flip on him, that would be damaging. I mean, even if it is lie, but the idea, if his name is mentioned into this, imagine the time you're going to take to kind of do the damage control. It takes away the energy and the time that you're supposed to be using to get your candidate message out. But what the heck is going on? All of these people up to this time, only the president. Of course, we now know, we all were speculating in the past that Joy Howard Taylor probably couldn't have been on it, but the president called the deal. What's going on with the opposition? Okay, maybe Jonathan is here. I think he's going to get us more news about the ANC, what is happening within the ANC war. He hopefully going to tell us. He's Assistant Secretary General of the Opposition to the National Congress here, because Amos Joyce was here. How much he said? What, 2 weeks, right? That old man, your friend. He's here 2 weeks the other day. We're not hearing anything. I hope he comes here tonight.
I hope so.
I hope that your patron. You don't check on him?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay. Let me bring in Mr. Jonathan Dolake. It's our analyst of the Liberia Public Radio. The way I see those smiles here, I think we're going to be having some breaking development. Mr. Dolake, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. So. Good evening. It's good to be with you and Mr. To on this platform.
Yeah. Look, man, What's going on? What's going on within your corridor, man? What's going on? We're
Yeah,
not hearing anything. When last went,
particularly,
where the press conferences usually, we're not hearing them. What's happening? Is Louis Brown still the face of the campaign?
Louis Brown had never been, and he's not a face of the campaign. Mr. Louis Brown, ambassador of former ambassador to the United Nations, is a member of Think Cummings, and he's doing extremely well. And he's still keeping his commitment to the CPP and Mr. Cummings' presidency election.
Are you saying he's not the face of the campaign? He's not one of the faces of the campaign? Why you want to denounce him?
No, the reason I'm saying it because the reason I'm saying it, a volunteer who has support me and they put them in comments. And like I told you people before, the campaign had not the schedule of the campaign commission had not been released fully. So to make him a campaign manager, ascribing to him a responsibility that it's not within his grasp. That's why I'm trying to make that correction because it's not campaign time. But he supports Mr. Cummings. He's consistent and remain committed to the process of Mr. Cummings being elected 2023.
How is he feeling? How is he coping with this sort of thing? I mean, it's a distraction in itself. Whether we like it or not, whether it doesn't worth discussion, because this guy, I mean, it's too much. After surviving the CPP, whatever shenanigan, and it comes right back again to just drop right to a feet. How is he dealing with that?
Which one? The missing money?
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit chicken change, but it's the repetitions of the political party that nobody knows. They can't get a sense, or is it something that you guys know and you're still holding to your chest that we don't need to know, or what? Because some of the argument, like Billy to say, oh, they're not that their own money, forgetting to know it's a public fund.
Look, as Chairman Belete has said that it's a chicken change. I think he did not
No,
mean
he
to
didn't say that. I'm
discount
just saying that. I said
the
I said I'm
excess
just
of
saying that. I'm not saying that what he said though.
oh yeah. But I'm saying it, or if even his estimation by the extension meant that it was just the CPP money. It doesn't say he's not intent to say that. It's not of any magnitude to be discussed. 70,000 in any part of the world is a significant money, especially when it comes from voters and people who want to send a message out to their leader. So it will be investigated and it will come to
It
a
will.
conclusion that all of the media. Hello?
Yeah, well, listen. You say it will be investigated, or is it being investigated? Hmm.
I didn't get
It's
you.
frozen.
That's what I'm waiting for.
No, I heard you saying it will be investigated. Is it being investigated, or it will? Is an internal investigation? Is it still going on?
And that's why I'm trying to give understanding about it. Every Mr. Toy, you getting me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Every criminal investigation in the country in Liberia, our country, is done national security or the state security as long as it is criminal, like in the case of the alteration. Those who represented, those who spoke that there was an alteration, it was done by, it was complained by the ALP and supported by the government of Liberia. In this instant case, what the amount pronounced missing have been complained by the CPP and will be investigated by the government, and it is investigated by the government of the Republic of Liberia. And they will have to come out with an outcome of the investigation. Good of all is that the driver who is alleged, and I re-emphasize the word alleged because we want to give him a space of providing us with the information that will be needed, has broken the silence for the first of its kind, to have spoken to Spoon. So it's a beginning point. And at the end of the day, we arrive at the bottom of this investigation. Minus that, Mr. Louis Brown and those who support Mr. Cummings committed, they are resilient, they are unhindered with their commitment, and they will support Mr. Cummings to the very end. What we are interested in is to find out what's the version of the alleged driver will be versus what the given reality is, to prove to those people who contributed or those who thought that it was reasonable to ascertain what went wrong with the fundings.
Let me ask you, we'll pivot here, but all of these things, they are just distractions, and we have to discuss them as well. Martin Kula, is he still in his positions? Is he still playing his active role within the ANC as we speak? Can you confirm that?
Yes, to the best of my recollection, Martin Kula is still the Deputy Secretary of the CPP and the Secretary of one of the constituent party to the collaborating political party as its Secretary, the Liberty Party in particular.
Okay, I just wanted to know. All right. Okay. The Liberal.
Yes. Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the young man who is being allegedly accused of the money, taking the money, he went on Spoon today and explained in details what he believes or what he think, what he knows about the money. And so some of the point he was making on the sister network tonight is they're very interesting. They're very interesting, and I think some of the languages that was coming out of him, those are languages you would, as Liberian, I understand those languages very well. For example, he said, if you think you will use me to take the people, you better come and tell the people where they were the money. That does not mean that he knows for a fact that they took the money. This is Liberians' way of expressing doubt about their involvement in anything, and so I understood that well. Now, what is interesting also is if he said he's sick right now, and if he comes back and turn himself into the police with a lawyer behind him, and he state exactly what we explained this afternoon, then I'd see no other reason no other way but for him to walk. And then they're gonna have to find other culprits of this $70,000. Because yeah, he is. I mean, this man said he drove for Banzaga. Well, Banzaga had over $120,000 with him in the car. He said he drove for other tough people from Baza, and he also had property in Baza. His wife is there, and so those things can be validated by the police for sure. And so even people like Banzaga, he said, Louis Brown knows him very well. They usually speak Bassa. So those are things, and in fact, not only coming to drive, but that some permanent person from Bassa introducing to this guy to be his driver. And one of the interesting things he said that really captured my imagination and everything else was this. He said, they asked him, he said, I haven't gotten paid. They asked him, you haven't gotten paid. Why aren't you saying something? He said, because I told him, man, he said, you're going to be $50. I know $50 is small, but I told you, okay. And the reason that I accepted that, and this is what I tell was very interesting, is that because I'm looking at the future. Because if Comey wins, I will benefit. If this Martin Kula wins, I will benefit. I will make more than what they're supposed to be paying me. So me taking the $50 is not anything. And yes, other thing here also that I thought people need to, and people who are involved that he named are people that can be reached by the police. He said most ability decided to pay the driver $150, but when it comes to him, what's his name, Martin Kula or whatever his name is, keep bringing him $75 instead of $150. But he said he wasn't questioning anything because he knew and believed within himself that the future was going to be bright for him. So if this young man would say those kinds of stuff, and then I started asking myself, what is he going to, well, maybe he is, but what is he benefiting right now? What is the benefit for him to come on air and say these things that he's saying? You know, so they have to be very careful, Mr. So it's going to be very interesting how it turn out.
Okay, let's bring in Dr. George Toto, is an analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and also support the candidacy of Councilor Tiawan Say Gonglo. Dad, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, hello, Alfonso. Let me greet the laborer, the janitor, and let me say Happy New Year.
Yeah, I don't think we have even
Thank you very much.
to you. Yeah, how was your New Year?
Yeah, the New Year, okay, just like our community, we had a bereavement when I was.
But it looked like you didn't eat as much as I did at New Year. You're looking a little bit, I don't want to say dry, but
we had when I was senior editor, Victor Judo senior passed away in the community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we've been at the community to make sure we give him a good burial, funeral. So the weekend, everything was successful. So in the community.
Okay. All right. So welcome to the show. I know it's a busy person, but yet and still squeeze time here. We are kind of like opening, loosening the microphone here this evening to see what's happening here. What's happening in your own world? Let's hear from you. You've been following the politics.
We've been following the politics. You know, the search for the vice president is getting intensified now on both sides, especially the comment and Joseph Burger. There are a lot of the discussion getting so intensified. You know, but it will not come on the public radar, but for reliable sources that we hearing, you know, the discussion going on. We have backdoor about who to pick as VP. They have some credible lead out there. You know, people like Lema Bowie, people like Sarah Basono Dinati, which is the city secretary of the United Nations. But whether they are local, whether they are international connection, will have impact on the local politics. those are things that we have look at because when it comes to Liberia politics, the local aspect of it play major role despite the international politics. Like Eddie Johnson said, it was for international things she had. You know, when she went to election, Liberia had the end for her. So these are discussions that are going on. And then one of the things also that when it comes to the arm that was seized in Liberia, the arms, the police and the justice ministry, I saw that Musa did trying to say on the extradite the person that smoked the arm of Liberia. And my concern was that, okay, yeah, they want to go through extradition to find the person that extradite armed to Liberia. But the chief of staff made some blanket statement some time ago about Liberian diaspora, about that it was security, national issue. He was not called to be investigated. He called names, whether he was putting police in trouble or not. And they let him in the war free. Up to now, nobody. I know the chief of staff. He's a very good gentleman, but he make a blanket statement. The security, the joint security. I know the justice ministry here, the joint security. He didn't make any statement, no public statement about what I meant, about what he said. But now they are going after they say enter the country. You see, these are the little things that they avoid. Now are getting to a point now that it could get to another point. Who knows?
Yeah, and Dr. Toto, you're quite correct. Good you brought that point as we are having an open microphone conversation here this evening here. And I am surprised. I'm not sure. I don't want to be conclusive to that, but I didn't see. And this is where the failure of the House, the first branch of government, also comes in. I don't care. It doesn't matter where. No one is above the law. When high profile, not even high profile, ordinary citizens, when people come up with these careless statement, and this country is so much divided. Officials of government, oppositions, so-called advocates, everyone just wake up in the morning and just say any loose thing and it's walk scot-free, blood will share, people will fight. Yes, the chief of staff, I thought the house, even both houses, they could subpoena him for more information because that was the chief of staff of the country is speaking that people are calling on him to overthrow a sitting government. And not just only people, he said people texting, people, he knows. So I don't know why I didn't remember seeing any video whether that happens. If any of you guys are watching the live feed, if that happens, let us know. We can correct ourselves. But I didn't see. And even if it happens behind the camera, then that is itself too is wrong. Because he came out. And the worst thing is he was making those statements when the president was away. The president was out of the country. Saying what has been unfolding in the west southwest region of late day with the coup d'etat and all of that. And for the man who is in charge, command of over 3,000 men and women of the armed forces of Liberia, who should be the first frontliners to protect the motherland, that people are calling on him to overthrow, and he was not summoned. If it happened, we don't know the follow since then. Everything just went on water. That is bad, though. Very, very bad.
Yeah, definitely, because these are the little things that people overlook and they slide down the road. You get a certain chief of staff, they such a blanket statement there. Other setting was so armed, they're smoking in the country. How did the arm enter the country? They say they carry investigation. They want to extradite some people from the U.S. And the same chief of staff were talking to people in the diaspora, say he messaged to over to the president. So can all the happening just happening right on the right time? So the investigation had to go in. There were the fear of the justice ministry. As you said,
his device is supposed to be in control of NSA. It's supposed to be that cell phone, that text message, everything should be in charge with NSA right now.
That's a national security issue. The chief of staff said that the government talking about extraditing somebody from the U.S. that small arms in Liberia. So these are some of the things that evolve. Let's take politics out of it, or also this is a national security issue. Like you are saying, I was listening to the show before you were talking. You think what went through Liberia, West African brothers and sisters, they died in Liberia. Nobody expected to go to where we are in the past, but our security issue need to be up to the task, especially kind of operator security. Somebody can just come and a blanket statement in the public or just walk away free or be accountable for it. That's a national security issue. I think by now that just the cheapest hours should have been arrested and probably on this roof for
I won't say. Yeah, I won't say it's arrested, but I think the issue are being called in. And not just he's not an ordinary, he's a high profile government official. They're not just ordinary folks in the street that were just talking. Somebody who in charge of intelligence saying that.
I have problem with my own or political leader, Tewa Gogno. When Talo Koyabandi were mentioned, I one of the suspect, it was also ever. I didn't see the party issue any statement with this associate that said from Talo Koyabandi was statement or be it was so ever able to just lie here, it just go down. And she's a face of a party of the Tewa Gogno movement, especially in the diaspora. She had made a whole lot of statement that's not in the interest of the presidency. Up to now, he had not even spoken on somebody. If he did, maybe I said to be corrected. But Tado Koyeba, they're very, I don't want to be so negative, use words, but she not been too good at all. And the chief was, I mentioned her name on OKFN. So these are the parties supposed to stick now. Or if you get a disgruntled with the party that calling for, they want to go through the democratic process of election in Liberia, they don't need to be part of any political environment.
Janitor, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I think Dr. Toto mentioned something. I don't know what it was a sort of coincidence. After those ridiculous statements, I would say a reckless statement coming from the sitting chief of staff to come out and I don't know what our names were called, but he was crystal clear that people were sending him texts. There was no follow up by the first branch of government. This is where the whole failure, I think it is time for us to take a really look at the men and women in the first branch of government, because if they can be held accountable, I'm not sure whether even the executive branch or the judiciary branch of government will be held accountable. That's their job. If there's any statement, any comment coming from any person, especially government official, then there are oversight committees, all right, in both houses should call in. Do you remember then subpoenaing calling in the chief of staff to clarify his statement? Who are those people and who are the people testing, so that we will have that sort of if it were internal or extended investigation, intelligence could be on LA. Here we are, less than a month. The chief of staff bizarre statement comments, and we're seeing arms being brought into the country, has been reported by the same very security apparatus.
And so what I would think, just before responding to a question from the conversation of my in-law and brother, Dr. George Toto, is firstly to register that the alleged person who stole the money shouldn't make this thing as he should return to Liberia. We have Interpol, and if he gave his location and he can reach out to national security, instead of he retiring or getting medication from his spiritual defects, is to create an ambit, a condition that the Interpol that is West African connected can reach out to him and ascertain the facts associated with the criminality of a 70 or whatever the amount is. That's number one. So he doesn't need to come to Liberia. He can stay in his abode, and you have people to reach out to him to ascertain the facts concerning an alleged missing money from a political party. That is point number one. And so the criminal investigation will deal with all those things, but just register that he doesn't need to come to Liberia for ascertain the facts. On to the issue of the discovery of arms. That is a serious situation, especially in election year. When I sat on the platform, I said there are three things that can never enter the port of entry of Liberia, specifically of government, our last postcard. I said that money then printed for the country will always be at the consent of national security. I said that arms being brought into the country for military purposes will always be to the consent, except otherwise for surreptitious means. Then chemical for industrial purposes that can harm human life would always be brought to the concern of national security. Having said the arms that were brought, and pay a question as to whether the first branch of government needs to answer to it, it brings me to the question about human life. And I agree with you that the national legislature should be brought into the process to explain, because the essence of the first branch of government, which is divided into components, one by county and another one by county, which represent the senators, which is land space, and then another one by representation, we represent the direct interest of the people. They need to speak to this reality that is currently unfolding in our country. And I would think that number one, Mr. So, one of the hiccups we have had over a period of time is the damaging effects of crime scene. I don't know how many of you saw the arms for the homes of the person that were believed to have been arrested. If you didn't see it, I will share with you. But what I saw arms coming out from the media perspective that I saw, not in a home, but from an outside. The veranda outside the house, the ceilings that are outside is what I saw people busting in through and getting the arms from them. And they were not using gloves. They were using bare hands. So if one wants to detect as to how many hands the arms pass through, it will be difficult because those who are investigating have already contacted the scene. And that is why we're trying to communicate in our last podcast. To fast forward, the lady who died, Princess Copper, when the police went at the place that she died, the first group of police that went there realized this, but the second group of police that went there also contaminated the scene. And so I'm trying to bring to the mind about contamination and repeated contamination about government report on issue of this kind of nature. So from my perspective, it is bad, it is evil. It reminds everyone on this platform, including us as panelists, about the bad happenings of our country since 1989 or prior to 1989, and the many coups that took place, or the alleged coup. But I think our security are not helping us to ascertain the truth. After that occurred, the journalists asked the police as to whether they can go to the continuum, and then the police resisted. when you decide to come to this kind of conversation with clean hands and purity of conscience, you have to allow it to reach to the bottom line. You cannot stop it halfway because no one requested you to do that. You have to finish it and adapt and build confidence in the society. By me saying it, it will appear as though I'm trying to protect those who brought the arms into the country. I'm not protecting them by any means. I'm just saying that if we want to dig deep up into what has happened, then the police must give us every pieces of evidence that will lead to what we'll ascertain. To close, all of us on the platform are yet to establish which one of the agents of government was responsible for the illegal entry of 100 million worth of drugs into our country. We have not gotten any information. Have we gotten information about the guy who went missing in Grand Junior County and served our country diligently through the National Elections Commission? I guess none of us have information concerning that. So it just gives the plurality of situation that keep happening in our country and needs urgent attention. And that is what I can say towards the issue of the armed situation.
Okay. Mr. Goya, welcome.
How you doing?
Number. Oh, so
Great, my brother.
So yeah, Sese.
You better hurry up with this. Papa Duty was soon taking my
By the time I got in the basement to my computer, I thought I was going to start running down. Daddy. So, we got to arrange for her to start giving us smoking juice to drink in the next so she can sleep soon. I've been listening to the show. I'm taking it back a little bit, but my brother Jay Kakaleka dance he doing today around our 70K and the interview by the driver. You know, ever since that money business came up, I've been calling on the CPP and the ANC that there have to be two different investigations, parallel investigations. One of them is a violation of Liberia's law, which is theft of property. That has to be investigated by the International Police and the Ministry of Justice, and they could charge people and send them to court. But the ANC or the CPP herself has to do an internal investigation. So he's here saying the alleged amount, allegedly if money was stolen, the alleged driver. And is the ANC or the CPP trying to tell us they don't know A, if money was stolen, B, that they don't have any internal way to determine how much that money will be, and C, where were the lapse in judgment? Is it within their financial policy that such amount of money be held by an individual? It bothers me when we are trying to raise the bar on George Weah and the government. And when their money got stolen? It's been weeks now.
Almost went to a month.
Cummings came out with a holiday message. He didn't even address that in his holiday message. So it is a little frustrating. I've been listening to my brother Jay do that Kakaleka dance, and the dance not working. Seriously, the ANC, if there are big wigs that are responsible, they need to come out and let it carry your own baby. But I think they're protecting way too many people, and I think that's a big problem. As far as the arms, I've been on this air saying that nobody wants war in Liberia, but we got to be very careful because the very security apparatus has been very scanty with the way they give information. We don't know the motive, so we can't come out to assume that it was intended to overthrow George Weah. And I agree with the Liberal that until we know that, it could be a plethora of things, right? And the other thing that's going to complicate this whole investigation that people are not looking at, if the alleged shipper of these guns is a U.S. citizen, wait, you think am I going to extradite that citizen to Liberia? You couldn't even get a charge to be sent to you in Liberia on a serious government. That they want, when you get people sanctioned, that they want to send somebody to you. You know, so for me, like I said the last time, there are investigative entities in America. You got the FBI, you got the ATF, because the ATF will be in charge of this tobacco and firearm, and because that's firearm, and there's a violation of state. Even if this person is a registered arms shipper, they still violated United Nations embargo and American restrictions on arms shipment to Liberia. So there's a lot of laws that have been violated within the U.S. if the government can provide that evidence, and that would be credible for that person to be arrested here. First thing that has to be arrested the person here, there has to be a grand jury to look at the evidence, and a grand jury has to come up. So there is a lot of things, and I think the police overshot their hands. Over 45 guns, they overshot their hand, overplayed their hands. And now, you know, today they found another 1,000 rounds. These things are just going to, the longer they wait to correct course, the more complicated this thing is going to be.
Okay. Dr. Toto?
Yeah, you know, just to talk about that, you know, about the ANC, when it comes to making quick decisions, especially the 70,000 issue, you know, that took place. You know, I think for me, this is one of the weaknesses of it's another commission.
Honestly, it's crazy
to make decisions. You know, you saw what happened with Ava Tropa. The authority quick to make a decision. They removed their chief of staff. And then when the $70,000 KAK, they didn't really do a good due diligence as a political organization to do that internal investigation and to come up to meet the public. They just came out straight and just put in the public. You know, now they're coming back at there again. Then Jonathan talking about alleged. You know, so I mean, I think this is one of the weaknesses of Alexander Comey when it comes to decision making. You know, I think he quick to be carried away by the noise. And as a political leader or for leader, even our committed organization that we run and whatsoever, we don't just make decisions quick because we serve the community whatsoever. We have to weigh the pros of the coin before we come out to make public statement and whatsoever. You know, because at the end of the day, this thing gonna haunt you. Now look at the way in which this 70K is unfolding. You know, as the laborer was saying, just by this getting the report of the driver saying all these things there. You know, and then where it really leave the party, the ANC or the CPP, you know. So this is an election time, and people need to be very careful how they deal with information out there, because at the end of the day, those small things will bite you at the battle box. You know, if you don't come out clean with this 70K issue and put a serious disclaimer out in terms of the investigation to go on, it's gonna hurt them. This is one of the weaknesses of Alexander Comey, because he's a political leader. No decision comes from him.
Mr. So, I'd like to push back on Dr. Toto's statement a little bit, even though I'm not an insider of ANC. But let's face it.
Where you everywhere. You everywhere. The only thing that you not belong to, the party that is not existing, that the only party you not belong to, you everywhere. So go ahead, oh man.
Okay. No, but what I want to say on this is this: ANC as an organization has a structure, and in these kinds of situations, investigation process, decision making process, the ANC, I think, have a structure. And so if it is not yet time for Honorable Cummings to come out and make decision, we have to give him the latitude. You can't expect Honorable Cummings, when the investigation process is going, those who are involved in making that decision as they investigate. Until all of those things is done, the final report is turned over to the to ANC political leader. Then perhaps he will come out and make a decision or make an announcement, because by that time he will have had enough information, all of the conclusion from the investigative arms of ANC and everything, all of the information will be before him, and he's not going to be second guessing anyone. But if we asking him to come now and make statement, you're simply asking him to honor court or to guess the decision. Unless ANC will come out to say we're done with the investigation and we're turning it over to our political leader, that has not been done. And so to say now that the political leader need to speak, I think is premature. Let me connect you. Let me you will come. You will come.
I was talking. You keep reporting the point. Let me just put you to a point. I'm not saying that Alexander Comey should speak now. What I'm trying to drive at, I said that when things occur, he come out very fast to speak. Then before the investigation come out now, we start hearing different things. That's what happened. The issue of Avatunga. It was a public.
And that's what I was getting ready to tie you with that.
He crowd, and then he came out. He make a decision quick. That's what I'm trying to. That's what we're going to come and talk now.
Okay, all right.
For me, I actually say he should come out and talk now. I didn't say you should come out and tell people how the end of the investigation is. To tell people what, in fact, there is an investigation. They haven't done that. They've been mute. Tell people if you have an investigation.
No.
Wait, hold on.
No, Cesar.
Investigation
Hold
No,
guys,
hold
hold on, Sese, when you finish, Jonathan, hold on, where you come from? You coming from calling Kumis?
You have to tell people if you have an investigation going on and who's on the investigation team, what's the time frame we have to hear back. We argue with the Liberia National Police over and over that when there's a crime, they don't give update to the country. They don't come and tell us what's happening. We assume nothing is happening. It's the same assumption we got right now. And ANC is supposed to be doing something differently. They are supposed to be the alternative. Right? So I don't expect Mr. Cummings to come and say, oh, we arrested this person, we did it, we did that. But you have to give the public updates on your team, your investigative team, their term of reference, and what time frame they have. And what are you looking at internally? And then when the report come out, then you tell exactly what your total finding was. You just can't leave us hanging in a hole. Then you go jump behind government. What they say, government can give you update, but meanwhile, you can't give us nothing. Then my brother Jonathan can do a lay, walk around. He said that he said will be okay.
I know, Jonathan, you're going to add your voice there because I think this guy here, not a single night here that he would not sound ridiculous. Just something told me here.
But Jay, before you come in, let me say this to Sese. Sese, why you're saying? I mean, you're quite correct. But here's the difference here. When we're asking the police to make comment, when we're asking the president to make comment, these are leader of the Republic of Liberia.
No, there you go.
Now, Cummings and his people, they are political party. Everything in there belongs to them.
See,
everything.
Look,
No.
wow.
You can't. No. Let me finish. Everything in the government belongs to us. That's the difference. Now you can say, and you can argue that you expect the government. I mean, your government waiting, so we expect you to do something rational. That's fine. But I just gave you a clear example of leadership, where they have structure in ANC. You do A, after A, then you do B, after B, you do C.
Where can we find that structure? Where do they have it? Where can we find
it? Minnesota politician, Minnesota politician. We have to speak one at a time. Minnesota politician. You got to let me end. So the point here is this. Minnesota politician, first of all, you're not part of ANC. For ANC,
Maybe don't know these people. Don't talk for them.
You know,
No, I'm not talking for the.
Sese,
I'm not talking
guy,
about.
I come in 1 second. Sese, this thing is not funny. This is a very serious thing. This Samson guy here, he's always in the habit of always being on the wrong side. You hear what he's saying here? They are not government, that they are money. So are you saying even with this LPR institution, it is only government should be held accountable? And Dr. Toto is quite correct. This guy, this guy hurriedly when there's an issue, they put in higher suit and go in front of the microphone to give reporters to be like that.
Why we gotta go high suit now?
Oh, no, I'm telling you, no, this is serious. It is a serious matter, and the worst of it, the day the thing happened on that event, it makes people to wonder if he can make some tough executive decisions when it comes to the safety of the country.
So what's wrong with a leader? What's wrong with a leader, political leader evolving? Okay. What's wrong with a political leader learning from the past? So perhaps making that decision, quick decision on Togba, as I Togba. Perhaps everybody say, well, this is not. So maybe he's changing. What can we give him latitude? What can we give him a benefit of the doubt? That's what I'm saying to you.
You're being interrupted. Can you give me a chance?
Okay,
please?
all right. Go ahead.
We're not talking about Boyka here. You say Joseph Boyka, man. We're talking about ANC. So let Dolaka speak, please.
Go ahead.
We're talking about money that is being missing from an organization. It's whether it was coming to unilaterally own funding. We don't care. It said there was a money that should be used for the public or for whatever events retire suffering. At the end of the day, people end up being suffering because money got missing. And this same guy, who is the person of interest because he was the last person or whatever, this money just vanished. And he was still sitting at the podium. You there at your job there, do you think that it should it be under government before you can take administrative decision? Is that why you want to back here? It's wrong. It's wrong. If we can also chastise the government or people not doing things in a timely fashion, how many weeks they can't even come up with their own internal investigation, and the criminality aspect should be left in the hands of the government. They can't come to that. Is that why you want to back here? You need to stop that kind of behavior. That's how you want to how you want to lead the country. Then we can't even trust you to lead a village before the country because you will lead the country into chaos. It's ridiculous. Something to. Don't do that.
Your opinion, sir, and is respected. It's your opinion. We'll respect it.
Then, Mr. Toe, let me first say for the record.
And Jenny, you're laughing. You think something to with you today, so you're laughing, right? Go laugh. Let's see before the show comes to an end. You will see a cruiser.
The reason why I'm laughing.
You think my own? I'm not stable, eh?
That's what you said. You said you're unbalanced. That I mean.
The reason why I'm laughing, and many a times when we're talking issue of national concern, I keep smiling. It's not that I'm trying to discount the conversation, but where I sit and what I know, I always like to choose my words very carefully. Under the Liberia jurisprudence, every criminal matter, all criminal matter, to qualify better, is handled by the state. Well, USA Cummings authored the document. Cummings and the CPP will have the best findings to prove otherwise. But to give Mr. Yue and the ALP the benefit of the doubt, the Solicitor General, who is sanctioned, has to take the responsibility of the prosecutorial armed. Related to the situation of whatever the amount is being called that is missing, it is within the grasp of the national security since the ANC have reported. The Alternative National Congress have zero report in as much as this matter is within the jurisprudence of the criminal investigator to come out with any report whatsoever, like the case of Alice Cummings and the alteration. Until the court came out to say that there was nothing whatsoever that amounted to alteration, it became the verdict and the standing of the ANC and the CPP, and Mr. Cummings jubilated for the court case. So too in this instant, we are free by the situation. One, that Mr. Cummings comes from the background of transparency and money has gotten missing in his institution. So it will always appear that we need investigation and he needs to speak out to it. But in this context, he cannot speak out without the authority of the national security. And that is why people are waiting on, because there's one person who is in the party that said, I'm waiting for a car. There's another person who is in the party who was a driver who is alleged. How do we ascertain the information? Do we get a report based on Martin Kula assertion? This is where I was coming from, that by the driver revelation, it is not on the shoulders of national security that when you have such a situation where the person is alleged or the person is not claimed that they are having spiritual interaction, that the Interpol should reach out to the person to give the benefit of the doubt to those who are querying the issue of the missing money.
Mr.
You bring it too far into the way.
Yes. About Coca-Cola phone and start again.
What about the Kula? Who knows the man because you want to give the benefit of the doubt?
It raining in the Bay Area big time.
Mr. So, here is the problem I got with my brother Jonathan and the ANC people when they try to eat their cake and have it too. On the one hand, they say that they're money. They don't know about the money. But then when you ask about investigation, then they say, oh, but our government is supposed to do investigation. But when you ask them for the internal investigation, oh, that one money, not your business. So you have to tell what it is. And one of the things that people, politicians and partisans need to know about Liberian laws.
Anyone.
Hold on.
Sese, I'm not cutting you off. I'm not cutting you off, Sese. I'm not cutting you off. But anyone that say this is our money, that person misspoke on the law. The law.
So having said that, because one thing people need to understand.
It is a business of the government to prosecute.
Thank you. But beyond that, Liberian law and election laws requires for political party to make reports on their fundraisers and expenses so that they don't defraud the Liberian people when they raise money from those people. So the money that got stolen from the ANC was raised from Liberia.
It's not a criminality.
I didn't say it was
criminality.
Listen to me now. Listen to me. Let me finish. People who say the money belongs to them, I'm trying to tell them that Liberian law, if it is for politics, requires you to make a report. That's why when you raise money out of Liberia, you have to make a report to the National Election Commission on who contributed to the election. So Liberian ANC people need to understand that. The second piece is, if money gets stolen from you, it is a crime against the state, even though that your personal money, because theft is a crime in Liberia. So the thing you're trying to dance around here, I am not telling the ANC or Cummings to come and say, look, we're arresting the man and the police is investigating. Go, no, you know, all of you keep touting Alexander Cummings' experience working in corporate America. And we all know in corporate America, when a theft occurs, there is an internal review. There is an internal review that's conducted by the entity to find out what went wrong, if there were administrative lapses, while the police and the justice folks are carrying on a parallel investigation to determine punishment under the laws. So you're trying to model the thing that you ain't get no responsibility to carry on investigation, and we're supposed to wait for when the police finish before Kumi can speak. Why ain't wait on Avato Batan? Or now because now the elephant away, okay, you ain't eat the other one in Daniel chair, your high. So the other elephant ain't one for you.
No,
No,
upon a correction, situation.
But where's the difference? Even the Ava, he's a policy advisor now.
But here's the thing. The Alpha situation was not criminal, right? But it was a moral breach. Just like this stealing is a moral breach.
But
last year, go ahead.
The Ava talk about thing. What's the difference? Janitor, come in 1 second. Janitor, come in. The Ava talk about thing. You know, this is this is so disingenuous and dishonesty on the part of all sides in the Liberian political process, the opposition, government, and so we just don't know. Even at the end of the day, where is Ava Atoba? He's a policy advisor to Kumi. He's still actively involved. Let me bring in the men from Atlanta, Georgia, who were asking for a vote for the presidency in the USA here. He was here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he said he was giving an ultimatum. After 2 weeks, if he doesn't hear anything, Amos George.
Yeah. Let me say this.
Yeah, wait first. Is it true? The last time you were given like 2 weeks, if you don't hear from them, we were going to hear from you. Can we hear from you tonight?
You'll hear from me in Panelist.
What?
I said Panelist. You're going to hear something from me. It may not be all you want to hear, but you'll hear something from me. Let me say this. All the people that are in ANC or whoever who's saying that our money is nonsense. It's nonsense. Anybody that say it's nonsense. One, the money was collected for Liberians for a purpose given to you. So if it is stolen, it's not your money. It should be accounted for. So people who saying or who go about saying that their money is nonsense, it's not their money. Two, on this very platform, the first day, I said Martin Kula should be a prime suspect. He should be, those all who were around there that day, they all should be investigated. But the party before, even the police, while the police conduct the investigation, they should investigate Martin Colley. I said, and today I still remain, I stand by, he is a prime suspect. Nobody, the only way he will be as from the party, he must be, if they go into investigation and find out he did not have any link, where the party can say, well, from our internal investigation, we found out that he did not have any link. But I have not seen that. I have not seen that yet. And I still stand by my word that Martin Colley and those who were handling that money that day, they all should have been questioned, statement taken from them to ascertain what went wrong within the party structure or handling that money. I have not seen that report. I'm still waiting for it. Today, I heard something. So, what the guy, what I listened to, portion of what I listened to, there's a whole lot of holes in there need to be filled up. But I'm meeting today that Martin Colley is a prime suspect. Kula, he is a prime suspect in this money missing case. And if the ANC cannot handle this thing, I will be one of those who will be on the back of them. They now should call Martin Colley to investigate Martin Colley while the police is conducting the investigation. There is a serious doubt for me. I believe Martin Colley knows something about this money from what I'm seeing now. I strongly believe if that dog took any of that money, he took some, but it was not here alone. He had accomplices. And the principal person in that case is Martin Colley. Let it call Martin Colley. I learned his girlfriend, let it call the girlfriend. Those who were in that car, let it search phone records of him. And I stand by that, Mr. So. And I'm a little bit disappointed because the people say when the door soups it down too long, something comes to start smelling on it.
But it was strange here to know the Liberal has formed a coalition with Dolake here. The
I
Liberal
cannot find out, Mr. So I cannot find a kind of coalition. We're preaching against this thing in Liberia. Why, if our people are doing it wrong, why we cannot call on them? The ANC has been, the ANC and the CP, they have been dragging their feet on this issue. It is not time that Mr. Cummings or Belede come to speak to the Liberian people about the status of what is the internal investigation report review.
I bring a Coke product for you, just for that. I bring meeting.
We cannot look. We cannot be holding George. We are the responsible, and then we want to put our people in the kitchen. No, put in the closet. We cannot do it.
I'm coming for you tonight.
Jonathan, I challenge you. If what I'm saying is like, come on and tell me say I'm lying.
Oh.
Mr. George, just before I lay my thought,
I'm not talking about
a former police officer.
Eh? You say what?
As an investigator for police
officer,
or former police officer.
You want question, man?
Wait.
I'll handle that one because Jonathan trying to walk around it into the law side.
Yeah, what you said, Jonathan?
For the sake of the audience, how are criminal matters handled at the investigative arm of the law enforcement?
Good. If you report a case to the police, the first thing they want to know the suspects. They will interview the suspects. But this case is in twofold. The police will be conducting an investigation. But you, because there's an institution, you're not, even if in the house the money is stolen, they will ask you. We have to talk to the children in the house because they are grown up. We have to talk to them. The police got to know who over there when you realize this thing was missing. You say, my children are there. They say, okay. Can we talk to the children? Yes. They can talk to the children. And after that, if they need, they take statement and say, okay, we'll get back to you. But you as the father, what is your own investigation that you have done? So this is an institution. There's a lot different. There's an institution. You got people from different walks of working for you. So when something missing, you have a policy that governs that institution. So you're supposed to conduct your internal investigation while the government is conducting their part of investigation. So you will know that.
I got your point.
I'm waiting for you.
He answered my point.
Okay,
In an instant case, internal investigation have been put by the national police, giving your veteran knowledge.
Wait. Hold on. I know it going. The police, you as the head of that institution, you will be working with the police. Say, look, this is our internal investigation. This is what we discover. So if you need anytime, call us based upon this information. We'll give it to you just in case. If you need, you can call us. But you cannot say, and the police will instruct you. If you get it, they say, look, hold on. If anything, we'll get back to you. That's what the police will do. So what is the next question?
So let me just say something real quick.
George, real quick. That's the residential.
Let me make my point.
Real quick. Jonathan's argument is undercutting this whole thing that ANC keeps selling, that Alexander Cummings has worked in corporate America. Your argument undersells that. Because in Coca-Cola, if there will be theft, the Justice Department will investigate that theft, but Coca-Cola as an entity will have an internal investigation.
I've been quiet for a while.
Those people should have had access to that, and how was a breakdown?
I've been quiet for a while since it. So let me go.
Liberal, don't put saying this here. George has spoken well. Don't put saying it.
No. Mr. I don't agree with the central right. You know that. Jonathan, let me say this. Jay, let me say this. Look, let's be realistic.
They're friendly to Nigeria.
Let's be realistic here.
Wow, this is unbelievable.
We cannot continue to do these things to ourselves when we know very well that they are not applicable in any kinds of leadership training. Now,
What?
I'm just hold yourself. Just be patient. Just be patient. I will satisfy you. Don't worry. Now, the point here is this. ANC is a political party. I know we all agree on that. Now, we can say ANC come out and say the president and the government need to do X, Y, and Z. Of course, they're supposed to. Now, with ANC itself, if anybody in Liberia, you want to tell me, if anybody go into your house and steal something, are you going to be responsible to investigate that? It is the police. Mr. So, I was quiet here for a very long time. So please let me just, unless you want to start your way of dealing with me tonight, I will accept it. I told you the central right is here now. Your behavior towards me going to change. So please, if that's what you want to show to the audience, that's fine. So the point here is this: ANC had a $70,000 missing. Somebody took it. ANC, by right, they will do their own investigation to see what is, hold on, to see what is happening. But it is the responsibility of the government of the Republic of Liberia. Once that report has been made, there was a letter allegedly written. So once that report has been made to the Liberian government to say we have a theft amount, the Liberian government should start the investigation. Now, at the same time, ANC going to have to do their own internal investigation. Let me go back to that internal investigation.
What is he saying?
After the internal investigation is done, then perhaps the leadership, those who are responsible to deal with the media, will come out and inform you, the audience, the public, what is happening. In the meantime, the government of the Republic of Liberia is what we're supposed to be backing on. And not to say ANC has been silent on this and what have you. So the young man today spoke on Spoon. On our central right, please let me finish. On our sister network, I totally get it, but we cannot sit here and make judgment as to who is guilty and who is involved and who is not involved. Let us leave that for the professional. Mr. Josh, you left the police for almost 60 years ago.
Yes.
You're no longer in the police. You can't bring back hold on, Mr. Josh. You cannot bring back Tommy Bonan type of policing to say that this is how policing work today. They don't do that. This is quite different. Give these people the opportunity to do the investigation.
This guy is getting to be the Kev Hassan on this network. He's getting to be Kev Hassan on this network. Are you serious?
How do you establish the authenticity of the whip case?
Something
to let me bust your bubble.
Let me go put a correction.
Someone's whipped.
Something to let me bust your bubble. No. Jonathan, hold on there. Something to your analysis about horse is wrong. And let me tell you why it's wrong. When something lost in her before you call the police, you ask your children. That's the internal investigation you're doing. You ask all your children. That is the internal investigation you are doing. And when you conduct that investigation, you can't see no hit, then you report to the police. That is your host. You will ask all your children, your friends, who took this, who did nobody know? Okay. You call the police. They will ask you talk to everybody there, yes. What they told you. They said this. That means that's your home. You are conducting an internal investigation. That's your home. The same thing goes to the institution. You're going to kind of how this thing left here. Who all were here? When they came here, who was the last scene? These are the questions you conduct. After that, everybody said, well, we don't know. We don't know. You said, okay. So you don't know. I'm going to call the police. Then, because you are accountable to the public, you will say, hey, this item got missing. But based on our internal investigation, we believe that we have spoken to all our people. We believe they said none of them said they took this, so the case had not been forwarded to the police. That has happened. Don't tell me about nothing with police. Because you people,
this thing here,
you do not want to look at Joseph Boakai and tell you the facts. That's the same.
Ambassador Boakai has nothing to do with this.
Hold on. You are talking. This is the same attitude you got that you will not be able to look at Joseph Boakai tomorrow and say, "Oh, my this thing is wrong." You will say, "Oh, it's good." Yeah, but some of us, the point we are reached, we will hold everybody accountable. Our own. We will hold them accountable. And what the ANC.
Let me ask something. Let me ask something here.
The liberal, please. The liberal, please.
Okay. The liberal. Have you reported any case to maybe your total community leadership or any authority? Have you taken any case out of your own domain to other people before? Have you reported a case?
If for what? I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't have any case to report to anybody.
You never reported a land case before? The land case.
I'm not for your trap. You know what you're doing.
I'm a law-abiding citizen. If anybody do anything to me, I take you to court.
Why you took the land issue? Why did they go to court?
Mr. So I'm not a witness to a criminal investigation. I am just giving you my opinion. So now you're gonna have to turn your I don't know what Mr. Joy's policing system now that you have trained you with, and you're bringing it on here. But this is not the place to do that investigation. I know you guys are very good at that. I'm not too sure what I was coming Bonan time or whatever time you guys have.
Dr. Toto, I think we need to work hard. Apparently, in all of us absent, I think Kev Hassan has successfully trained this guy to be.
Mr. Toto, yes, sir, Junior.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just calling him. No, but something is ridiculous. I think this is.
I wanted to come in.
Samuel Johnson, former senator from Bowling. Court has answered you a stepchild.
No, but that's Samuel Johnson and Spoon people. We don't do that here. We know, as far as I'm concerned, KFC is a Liberian, born Liberian, will remain Liberian until he died. There's no change in that.
As far as concerned, as a precursor,
I think that Toto was trying to say something.
Let's hear Dr. Toto. Jay, let's hear Dr. Toto, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I was trying to raise a point. I said, let's try to get away from. We are there with the Senate coming to that group when it comes to a poor leadership making quick decisions. And I wanted to look at the kind of momentum that building in recent days, especially the kind of the vice presidential pick, very crucial. And, there are a lot of needs out there in terms of vice president pick.
But Dr. Toto, can you make that your closing? Because I think we're on the hour now.
That's a closing for me.
Okay.
That's a closing because of the vice presidential pick. Kind of very crucial because election time, we talk about 9 to 10 months from now. We need the political leaders to come on now, when they are running men together, know there are other needs out there. Now talking about Syria, Solo, United with the citizen with the United Nations currently. And whatever international field will have impact on the local politics, it should be selected as one of those vice presidents. So that will be interesting. And then we'll have Dominican also there too. They got some potential females. Either race, they might go in. But for me, I would prefer any of them, to take a vice. To vice president be a female. If the male cannot get together, if the vice president, if Joseph Boakai or Comey cannot work together, we know they're not going to work together. some of their strong insider selling, they're not going to have it. But whosoever they pick as vice president, they're going to have a serious impact on the ascending to the presidency. And those are two of my key interests. As I put into my background check, you got doing a lot of background check, and a lot of the I spoken to one of those key potential, that
Okay.
going to be the vice president.
All right, let's go to Sissy and Jay will come to you after Sissy. That will be your closing. Whatever you want to do, you will do it in your closing, please. Can you wait? All right, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Sissy.
So
we're talking tableau here. Let the forward tableau mean. Let the forward tableau mean. We're talking tableau.
My closing is not going to be political for the first time.
And that's a surprise.
We are we are getting in tax seasons in the United States, and some of us never get taxed. We never get refund because federal government always say we make more money. We can't see where you're going, so I go through same way. But for people who get refund, there are a lot of needs in Liberia. Schools are opening. Schools are open. There are kids without feetwear going to school. There are kids without basic notebooks or pencils going to school in Liberia. There are a lot of kids who parents wish that they would go to school, but they don't have the might to get them to go to school. So my one plea to all Liberians in these United States, if you can put aside $10 and $15 and send it to somebody randomly in Liberia to support a kid's future, to go to school, or to make it easier for them to go to school, or to even make their school building accessible. So I'm even thinking just like, the lowest hanging fruits, like the MCSS and all the other places, to help out. Education is not political, should not be political. Those children that go to MCSS that are without, they are opposition children, they are ruling establishment children, they are no position children. There should be some things that cut across politics, and I think it's just one of those. So I just thought, that this tax season be a blessing to public schools and poor students in Liberia this tax season. So I'm not going to make my closing political.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me just bring this here. As you know, the political leader of the People's Liberation Party, Dr. Lauren Kassé, the family did reach out to us today. As a matter of fact, he's a friend. He was a friend. He was a brother. I said this before. Live on the same estate, number 6364, from my 1983 to 89 up to the war. So we are like a family. But we will be participating into his homegoing. We have not been informed. He will be laid to rest 27th and 28th. The venue will be later, but it's in Pennsylvania. So LPR will going to be there. We'll do everything possible. Will be there to also provide live coverage as part of our community engagement. So those of you that are closer there, we're gonna be having more details. And let's just throw this other quick obituary here before we go. And those are some of the things that we're going to be doing now, as well as another way of giving back and keeping our audience informed as well.
We want to bring you this obituary announcement from our obituary photo of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. It is with profound sadness that we inform you the death of our beloved husband, father, brother, uncle, grandfather, and great-grandfather, Brigadier General Willie G. Dennis, formerly of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Liberia, who passed away peacefully at his residence on November 22, 2022 in Worcester County, Massachusetts, USA. General Willie G. Dennis is survived by his wife, Mrs. Martha G. Dennis, 20 children, 54 grandchildren, 28 grandchildren, and several hosts of relatives and friends in the USA, Liberia, Europe, Asia, and other parts of the world. Waykeeping and funeral services of the late Brigadier General Willard G. Dennis will be held on the 20th and 21st of January 2023 at the AME Zion's Church on 55 Illinois Street, Worcester County, Massachusetts. Pa Willard G. Dennis wishes he be buried in his hometown of Boca Town in Grangeda County, Bazant District. This announcement was brought into Liberia Public Radio by Mrs. Martha G. Dennis, widow of the deceased, and Mr. P. Dennis, brothers of the deceased of the family.
Okay, Samson Todd, and I mean familiar name. We hope to be participating in that, and I would just want to let all our contributors, analysts, followers know as well. Moving forward, we showcase the birthday of one of our own. So if anybody having an event, birthday, graduation, convention, let us know. Make yourself happy. We have the capacity to do that. Any event, just give for a heads up, and trust me, there's a cost saving to that. We don't necessarily have to be there, but we can find a way. We can figure a way out, and we can give that live coverage as long as you have access to internet. Whether you are in Alaska with Sarah Panel, or you will be going to Putin, if he allows that. We can do that. That includes any memorable event, for that matter, that you think you want to share with the world. Let us know. Obituary and all of that is not a good thing, but hey, those are all services that we can render in the community. Let us know, and we can, we have the capacity to do that. All right, gentlemen.
Thank you. Let's continue. Jay, go ahead and give us your closing as well, and then Mr. George. Jay, are you there?
I say he and Janet are so friendly today. My goodness.
So quickly, one, yeah, I'm here.
All right, go ahead, give us your closing.
One, I've always been friendly, and that's why you are calling me a cool talker. One, the missing money, like anything getting missing for any Liberian and anybody in the United States of America, it is a criminal investigation meant to be verified and established by facts by the government of that country, particularly in Liberia that I know of, and probably in America as related to criminal matter. As to whether the organization or institution should provide us, that facts will be predicated on the investigation and the conversation of the national security or the state security regarding as to whether they can come up with facts. I know that we don't dispute this situation, which is a criminal matter, to that of rape situation. When there's a rape, there are investigation, they will corroborate the investigation, they will establish the findings, even with police, they will tell you, talk this now, this together, and then we will furnish you. So, per George, I understand the exuberance. I know what it means for us, that honesty and accountability, if we cannot, people cannot come with me for our repetition, but at the same time, we have to allow the institution responsible to execute her. Can I get when one person is available and the other person is not available? That is an inconclusive investigation. It's not likely to have a reality situation for which Mr. Cummings thought it wise to distance himself or to allow Avatua to relieve his post as a chief of office staff. I also want to close on this note that if the investigation, if on a condition, the investigation proved otherwise without the ANC taking appropriate action, it will undercut us in the election year. If it goes in accordance with fast funding, it will boost our accountability, and we are conscious of it. And that is why, among many political parties in the country that things were happening, we thought to let the government know as to what has happened. And so I want us to keep it as that, the benefit of the doubt. even included with the issue of the arms that have been found. Let us give the benefit of the doubt to the government to bring every fuss at a stop, to bring it through media, to let us know. They should not stop anywhere to tell us, hey, we cannot go to continue. In as much as we're holding the arms with our bare hands, they should tell us the fingerprint, they should tell us the bill of lading, they should tell us everything concerning the 70,000 as well as the arm. And I'm still interested in the missing guy who went missing in Grand Junior County, plus what has happened to him up to today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. George?
Let me say this. In every situation, if there's a complaint and the police don't want you to comment, they will talk it. They will tell you. And it is your responsibility to tell the public. Based on the advice of the police, we will not comment on the matter further until we consult the police. That's what happened. Mr. Sampson told, I ain't my school fee for police science. So those are the procedure. But when you are quiet and the police is not seeing anything, then people start raising doubts. People start filling the blanks. What is going on? Jonathan, you're the deputy secretary of the ANC. I want you to call your leaders and tell them, ask them, did the police tell people not to speak to the public on this matter? And if the police did so, then you put a press release up to tell the public so they can know where you people stand. If you have conducted any internal investigation and consulted the police and police say, no, do not put it out there. Let the public be aware that, yeah, we conducted an internal investigation, but the police advise them not to make it public. Those are the procedures that govern investigation. And if we are saying we want to change Liberia, well, I can't be yelling at George Weah every day. Then when it happened, I told them, I said, oh, my toe, I will just cover it. It's not right. It's not right. We have to learn to tell our friends and hold those we want to put in leadership accountable. So we cannot be calling this thing out. Samson told you want to take the single barrel and put a fanny oil, say you cover it or not cover it. Now let me just go to Dr. Todos to mention something. Let me tell you this. Yomli Kanga will not be vice president for Joseph Boakai.
I get tired.
Yomli Kanga, I tell you, Yomli Kanga will not be vice president for Joseph Boakai. The vice president of Joseph Boakai will either come from Nema or Bon. Reason Yomli Kanga don't have the money. Second, Benina Yure has taken over Joseph Boakai. That was the game he was playing to control Yomli Kanga, the king on the side of Joseph Boakai, and could not to chakra the CPP. Now he has conquered Joseph Boakai. Yomli Kanga cannot take Joseph Boakai to Nigeria to look for money. It's Benina Yure. Benina Yure now will be cutting a shot. And market from it, Dr. Todo, Yomli Kanga will not be vice president for Joseph Boakai. Good night.
Okay.
Okay.
It's so sad.
Since I listen to you, when the born, I will try.
All right, folks. We'll be back here hold on. Tomorrow. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful night.
Yeah. Lord, Samson, please.
I thought the show finished.
No. The show not finished?
You're not the moderator. You are just acting.
Are you running the show? What's your problem tonight? What's your problem tonight? Look, man, guys, Samson, you don't be doing this thing to our country, man. Please. This is
you see, we said we close the show now. Okay.
That's my own closing statement. I am in charge.
But I'm not asking you to make any statement because your statement is not going to be in favor.
Okay, I'm about to take you off now. If you continue
there we go. You're coming to park me in the bike.
Yeah. And you got a guy who can be parking the garage. Look, okay, guys, we'll be by. But look, honestly, I think we gotta be honest to the country. Samson, you need to start supporting a janitor for God's sake. Are you saying if we take you tomorrow and make you managing director of a public corporation and you have the corporation money, $1,000 even? I'll tell you right now, my company, there's something is $20.74 and $15. October 10th, 2021, investigation audit is going on right now. Why? Because people should be held accountable. And you're telling us, oh, that your own thing. Police comes in to determine the criminality of whatever that I call. You can do your own internal investigation to know who is responsible, who was within that. Why you think they can gather people of interest and who were the last people saying the ransomware? Huh? What is it?
You're asking for the year if it was 2021.
Yeah, I said 2021. Before I took a position, the previous manager, there was
but you can say about 2022 I have a few more.
I'm just only telling you that even though it's at a far period of time, but there is an investigation to determine how that money was used. $20.74 and $15. And we're talking about $70.
Never go to sleep. You're talking automatic.
I think you need to start drinking our entire tea.
Okay, gentlemen, good night.
All right, Dr. Toto. The Liberal.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And
thank you.
Our many followers and fans, we say thank you for sharing your night and evening with us. If this is your first time, this is the Liberia Public Radio, Lpr-Tv. Subscribe, follow the page. Your views, your opinions, always here.
ANC for that paper, that woman there.
They come in, Jay, remove the mess.
You good. I stay with you, my George. I stay with you.
I come and join ANC, but George, you'll be gone.
I'm leaving there.
You 100%.
I'm not leaving. I'll be there.
You're not part of them already. You coming, John?
I'm joining you. I'm joining you.
He everywhere.
The burger, oh man. Oh, you see?
Good night.
All right, guys. Yeah, good night. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I'm Alfonso Zianso. We want to thank all of our viewers, our listeners. Your comments is so engaging, and all we do is to put the interest of the country first. And I think all should be held accountable. We can't snatch, badge, slam the government of a policy of a failed administrative policy, and then other people think they're going to walk scot-free. It's ridiculous. It is absurd. I don't think we should allow that to happen. All of us, even we as facilitator, as anchor, as presenter, we should be held accountable as well. When we say things that are not right, people should come and say, and we should have the guts to apologize. You can't have somebody who was in possession of that kind of money for the public, and you have ability and other people coming here, oh, then that's our own money. And you still have that person in charge. You cannot do that in any organized. So for them to say they have a structure, then I doubt it. What is the purpose of that structure when someone can be held accountable, even though there was somebody in custody of that money? And they say they can be held accountable. Is that why you guys want us to buy in? What hopes you gave if you want to be the alternative? It's wrong. And as a leader, sometimes you take some controversial decision, whether people are going to like it or not, but somebody must be held accountable. There is a presence of interest. There was a person in custodian of that fund that yet to be accounted for. And you still have that person to be an executive of your organization. That's troubling. And you are giving what ANC is doing, and they fail to realize they are even giving the government more argument against them. They might see it. It doesn't mean anything, but in real time, and people who want to think, they begin to wonder their judgment in making judgment. And I think it's wrong. This thing should have been addressed. They need to determine, they need to come up with their own fight, and then the government or the police will determine the criminality if there was any crime committed. That's it. Folks, we want to thank you so much for being here with us. By God's willing, we're going to be back here tomorrow with the ladies and the other folks to have our conversations. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, to welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Zienso, and this is today's editions of Lpr-Tv Live with the panelists. The panelists are here in full to discuss, dissect, and critical issues affecting our country. Welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio in collaboration